This is Alex Amoriello for BSide45. I'm delighted to be speaking today with John Anderson, a man who possesses one of the all-time most distinctive voices in rock history. As the former frontman and founder of legendary rock band Yes, John has written some of the most memorable songs, including Roundabout, Starship Trooper, and Owner of a Lonely Heart. John, thank you for taking the time to speak with BSide45 today. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. It's great to be with you.
Can you share with us how the song New New World came to be? I understand it was a collaborative effort.
Yeah, the music is by a guy called Jamie Dunlap, who actually does the music for South Park. And I got to know Jamie about 3 years ago. He sent me some music. I wrote a couple of songs with him. And then last year, I was in Paris working on a project, and he sent me this music, which became New New World. And the way I do it, he would send me an MP3 of the music. I would sing an idea and a lyric and send it back to him. And that's how I created Music for Survival and Other Stories. It's a collaborative work with different people from around the world.
How long would you say it took from the song's, the concept of the song to actually having a completed work where you felt it was ready for the recording studio?
Well, it's recording in the studio already because you're working on the internet and the music comes in on the computer. It goes straight to my studio on my laptop, and then I bring it home, put it straight to my studio in my cottage, and start singing it and developing it. Maybe, I'd say 5 or 6 times you'll re-sing it, make it sounding really good. And then 5 or 6 more hours of work on it, mixing it, and it's finished. Probably altogether, you'd say maybe 10 hours per song you spend working on the song to make it ready for release.
Interesting. It's a new world, right, John? So much can be done.
Well, yeah, you're working with modern technology. It's something to... Younger people are so locked into it. It's a logical thing to work with, and I'm very, very comfortable working with my computer all the time. I work on it every day. I've been singing this morning, and just working on ideas for next year, and who knows when.
Right. Interesting stuff. Yeah, and I was going to ask the question. I know that you're pretty active in the social networks, particularly Facebook, so I was going to ask you how the Internet really affects you as a songwriter, and how it played a role. So it played a role not only in New New World, but it sounds as if the whole album as well.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. It's a different world we're living in. And what I find interesting is there are so many young, talented people out there. And because of putting an advert on my website, I was able to get people to send me music. And every week I get new music, and still working with people doing videos at the same time. So I'm trying to visualize the music as I'm doing it as well. So creating art by using the internet as a vehicle is very, very important, and it helps a lot of young people making music, a lot of young people creating visual art, and eventually there'll be a lot of theater on the internet. Broadband will get broader, and you'll be able to have people doing concerts, theater works, plays, where people can actually see them being created, and so on and so on. I think it's just opening up very slowly, but it's working.
Sure.
There's a company called Stage It, and you can go on. I'm going to do this in October, where you put on a show in your home or in your room, whatever, and then actually put an advert on your Facebook. You're going to do a concert next Saturday, whatever, and people can buy tickets to watch the concert at 8 o'clock, say, and then you put on the concert, and you're slowly making a living doing it from your home. And so I'm very excited about those kind of things that come through.
Very interesting. John, if I can take a moment and just, I'd like to spend some time on the lyrics of New New World. From the opening line, you take the listener on this journey. It's truly outside of the typical lyric box. To quote your first lines of the song, traveling a distant world we came upon the distance of another time. What was running through your mind as you began to put pen to paper?
I think more or less when I start writing lyrics, I just get a feeling of, basically, I'm trying to say that the world is constantly changing. It changes every day, and we learn new things every single day. And that's what we do in life. We travel this road which is constantly changing, as though you never know what's going to happen next, in a way. And the idea is to take you on that sort of mystical journey that we're all on. We're all on the same journey of life, and how inventive the world can be at times. And one minute you think you know what's going on, and the next minute you don't know nothing.
So true. So true. John, today music has become as much a visual as it is audio. What are your feelings about video in music? Do you feel that video has perhaps taken away from the purity of music at all?
Not really. I think in the old days, you used to get a record, and you'd have a big sleeve, and you'd open it up like a gatefold album, whatever. And those days are gone. Now you have CDs, which are small, and you can make CDs into nice artwork, but it's not big and explaining anything to you that much. But with the video, I think we're entering into that period where you can visualize your ideas behind the music. New World. There's a video on my website on johnanderson.com, and what we did was to get hold of an old black and white movie that was sort of like a science fiction movie.
Sure.
From the 1930s, I think it was called. So pretending this is the new world, sci-fi, And
sure.
So it works for me. So the idea of doing that is very, it opens up a lot of avenues for bands. They don't have to stand there and try and look like the Beatles or the next pop band. They can actually get some friends to do some real interesting video of whatever that relates to the song, so that when people hear the song, they see it as well.
John, one last question before I let you go. About 2 years ago at the Ridgefield Playhouse in Connecticut, I had the pleasure of seeing the School of Rock perform an evening of Yes Music, in which you actually performed on stage with these incredibly talented young musicians. And some of these musicians were 13, 14, 15 years old. What was that feeling like for you? It must have been a wonderful experience to hear your music coming from these young talented musicians and being able to play with them.
Well, first of all, I'm constantly amazed how good they were, and girls and guys, and it was just such a trip for me. I did it 5 times over the period of 4 years, where I play with these 25 or 30 young musicians. And first of all, you're so thankful that they love Yes Music. They can play Yes Music.
I know,
and
yes.
Experience for everybody, the audience. We had a great time, I had a great time, and it was such a blessing for me.
Thank you, John. I greatly appreciate your time, and I thank you for giving the world some of the most beautiful music ever written. I wish you much success on the new solo album, Survival and Other Stories, and it was an absolute pleasure to get a chance to speak with you this afternoon, so thank you.
Excellent. Well, I wish you well.